So what we asked you guys to do, if you want, last week is check out this speech that an investor called Li Lu gave in China, in Chinese, which I don't know if that is Mandarin or Cantonese or a different language. It just says Chinese on the page. And somebody has translated this into English. You can find this speech on Li Lu's fund's website, which is called Himalaya Capital. And if you go on there, if you're interested in reading it after you've listened to this podcast, you can go on there and go, oh gosh, I don't have it in front of me, but click around. It's like resources or something like that. And the speech is right at the top, and it's called The Prospect of Value Investing in China. It was from October 23rd, 2015. So this talk, Dad, you started telling me about it last week, and you were talking about it in the context of only one part, which was the various financial assets and what the growth over time has been comparing cash, stocks, gold, GDP. But I really wanted to read the whole thing because it sounded so interesting, and I'm so glad that I did. Because
did you read all the stuff about the integrity of a financial advisor? And
of course,
it's shocking when he puts it the way he puts it to this group of people who presumably are going to go out and advise people about investing, and of course Li Lu has shares our view. He learned directly from Buffett and is, I think, a very close friend of Charlie Munger. I think he lives in Pasadena in order to be near Charlie.
I think he lives in Seattle.
Oh, he might be. Okay. I really don't know. But he presents this view to these Chinese students that I think is so right on. That basically, of all the professions you could get into, of all the things people could study to be a professional in college, right? You can be a dentist and you can be a car mechanic and get certified to do that in a training school. You can, right? Any place where you really have a professional credential. Everyone understands their products deeply. I mean, that's what they do, right? I mean, I have a professional come over here as a good friend of mine to take care of our heating and air conditioning systems, and he's investing in Carrier. I mean, he deep into his own subject, obviously, except for financial advisors, who Li Lu correctly asserts know nearly nothing about what they are putting people into. It's just
that's
amazing.
An interesting take. That's not the take. That's not the take that I got. What I got is, I quote him, "Users in this industry don't know anything about its products and how to discern their quality," which to me means people buying financial services don't know anything about what they're buying. But you took it the other way.
I don't have it right in front of me, but I read it that he was basically saying, if financial advisors by and large are salespeople. They're trained as salespeople. They don't know what it is they're putting people into, and as a result, you end up with this in what people call investing. That financial advisors do for you is simply spreading your money all over Kingdom Come, because they don't have a clue about how to actually invest.
I'm not sure that's what he's saying. I mean, he goes on to say, he compares it to a car owner, a restaurant goer, a hotel guest. So he's not talking about people who operate the hotel, people who operate the restaurant, people who make the cars. He's talking about people who buy the services. He says a car owner, restaurant goer, hotel guest can pretty much tell how good the product and or service is once he experiences it. However, this is not so in the asset management industry. Most of the time, consumers have no way of judging whether a product is good or bad and cannot determine whether a service is superior or inferior. And I really like...
Except you forgot the next sentence.
I don't think I forgot it. Go ahead.
Not only consumers and investors, but also the professionals, including some of the top players, find it difficult to discern the quality of product or service offered by other players, which is why the financial services industry is completely different from other service industries.
Right. So what I hear him saying is you as a financial professional may not understand what guy Y, guy X as a financial professional is doing. You know what you're doing, but you maybe don't know what some other guy is doing. No?
Okay. Well, I do think that's
what he's talking about.
He's aiming, because he then goes on to say, I mean, come on, if you can't tell how good someone else is doing, then
it's impossible to evaluate them.
Do you even understand the products? In other words, here you get down to the bottom, which is that since people can't distinguish good products from bad ones in the industry, most investment theories are subject to the axiom where you sit determines how you think and what you say. So he's basically saying people don't know what they've got. They don't know a good thing from a bad thing. And that's not just the people who are buying it, but also the professionals who are selling it.
I do think he intimates that for sure, because the whole section is about how not only do consumers not get it because we don't have the ability really, but also many times somebody doing well as a manager is because the whole market is doing well or is because of luck. And so he says very explicitly, even somebody who has been a manager for 10 years, Li Lu, the speaker, would not be able to necessarily judge whether or not that person is actually good at what they do, because he can't see what's in his portfolio. He does say, if I can know what's in the portfolio, then after observing him over a very long period of time, I can make a judgment.
Right. I can do that. And I do that. And in fact, we've talked about how a friend of mine wanted me to evaluate Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, great. Send me over what he's been doing. And she couldn't. He never provided anybody with any of that information. So that's a big red flag, right? If you can't dig in for a long period of time on what somebody's been doing, you really don't have any idea of whether they're good or not. Mm-hmm. And in fact, a lot of these investment professionals, Li Lu goes on to say, believe half-truths and even fallacies. And many professionals themselves cannot distinguish truth from fallacy. And what he's talking about there, in just that real quick sentence, it's actually on page 3 if you're looking for it, Danielle, at the top of the page, is what he's talking about there is that many professionals, Charlie Munger says 95%, not just many, almost all, Charlie says are, you could compare them to witch doctors and that's because they believe in things that are simply not true. And they run their whole business on that basis. And what they're believing that's not true, according to Li Lu and Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett and me, is this, that they believe that somehow the stock market is this amazing place that perfectly prices everything. That somehow they've decided, standing away from it like academics do, that the market's totally rational all the time. Nobody makes, in general, nobody, and if you do the math, of course, you end up with a bell curve. But in general, people don't price things wrong.
I mean, yeah, I think that's easily inferred. It's not, he doesn't talk about that at all. And I was really struck by this opening section.
I've written lots of things about Li Lu over the years, and trust me, he totally believes what I just said.
I'm sure he does, but he did not say that in this speech. And I found that very interesting. This whole opening section is nothing but ethics. He makes a huge point twice, really. It's the same point said twice. The first one is make it your ethical obligation to seek truth and wisdom. And the second one is be a really good fiduciary for your investors as though they were your own money or your parents' money, your family's lifetime of hard work and frugality. That's really the same point twice to me. And I was just really struck that that's what he chose to say, not the stuff about markets or Mr. Market or ups and downs or theories of markets. It was, let's make sure I'm being clear about your obligations as potential financial professionals.
You guys, if you enjoyed this video and you feel it was valuable in teaching you more about how to invest, hit the like button and please share the video with your friends. And if you want more investing content, subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to click the button on the screen. We got a free gift for you. Thanks again for watching.